Hello everyone, welcome to this latest edition of Masterclass. Today we are going to show you how to use AI to create content easier and faster. And to do that, I have with me Chaitanya, connecting all the way from London. Chaitanya is a seasoned wordsmith and an AI enthusiast. Today he will share his extensive experience and expertise in utilizing Writesonic effectively to produce engaging and high quality written content. More on Writesonic is incoming, but before that, let's welcome Chaitanya. Chaitanya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shubham. Thank you for having me and for a sweet intro. Yeah, loved it.
So, a lot of doomsayers nowadays are prophesizing the end of the world at the hands of
Mhm,
AI. So, what do you
mhm.
think of these statements?
Uh, I think, if I look from the content perspective, relatable to where the audience is right now, I think we've been able to automate a lot of workflows seamlessly with AI. I think AI is more at a space where it's optimizing the workflow. AI can never replace a writer who has 5 to 6 years of experience, but rather you wanted to give the first draft and say that you don't want to proofread a lot and spend a lot of time in editing the content in it and checking the grammatical mistakes and checking the other typing errors and all of those and spacing issues and all of that. I think that is where AI is going to come in and pull up the first draft. Then obviously you need your human intelligence because there is contextual, there is other kinds of information, and you don't want to spend a lot of time on doing the factual checks and all of that, whether this information is right, wrong, because you can give a prompt to the AI saying that, hey, I want only the latest information which is published in the last, let's say, 10 months or 6 months, right? But when you try to do in another way, Google and all of that, you get hundreds and hundreds of references and you would be confused to pick up which one should I use or which one to avoid in a lot of cases. I think these kind of examples keeps on adding a lot of sense, and all of these new things which are coming in the AI space are gonna make the workflow seamless, but not replace anyone who's experienced as such, right? I think for here I think Manvi, who is also here in the current masterclass, I think she's been content writer for over 5 6 years or more than that, right? And she hasn't been replaced. Even though we're an AI company, she hasn't been replaced in the
Right.
company yet. So which means that when you come up with the right workflows and seamless, I think previously she's working with a Notion and other companies where they were able to produce like 15 blogs a month. Right now we're doing almost twice or thrice of that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, yeah, speaking of the wonders of AI, please tell us
Mhm.
more about Writesonic so that we can set the stage of today's masterclass and who
Okay.
all can use
Sure.
it.
So I would say Writesonic is a generative AI company used by enterprises, small businesses. I think anyone who wants to optimize your content workflow, whether you're a solo business owner, you're an e-commerce owner, you're an D2C, you're a student, or you're a researcher, the limits are endless. And it depends on you for which purpose, how efficiently you're going to use it. I mean, there are few use cases which we haven't figured out, and we were able to figure out when some of the members in the community going to tell that, hey, I use Writesonic for this also, right? Which means that there are hundreds and hundreds of use cases, and we might have identified only the tip of the iceberg still now based on the templates which I've created and all of that. But deep diving into that is how you wanted to use it and which makes sense for you. I mean, for example, LinkedIn post, social media, and all of that is fine. But we also saw someone using Chatsonic, which is a part of the Writesonic family, using that to build a WhatsApp API
Wow.
and connecting it with Phyllo. And we saw someone using Chatsonic API where he's trying to move to another job, and he's been pestering with a lot of these applications, and he automated something where he could understand the resume, understand the kind of job descriptions and all of that, and replied with the right context, saying that, hey, I wanted to schedule a meeting for the next steps only if he goes through certain checks.
Right. Amazing.
So
Wonderful.
the abilities are more, we have to figure it out and understand like what exactly makes sense, and whether, I mean, end of the day, it's automating and reducing that data entry work. It's reducing those kind of ad hoc works where you're spending a lot of time. So since AI is changing and it's giving the information, which is very factual and which is really important, you would be able to ask AI certain kind of questions, which you're asking an expert in any field, right? So consider it as a coach, consider as a guide, or maybe I think those are the things which AI is going in terms of Writesonic. We've been experimenting with a couple of products. One, the initial master product is Writesonic, then is ChatSonic, BotSonic. Been playing around with the field. Still a lot of things to explore on that. I think I'll give an overview of how Writesonic looks like, what are the different things. I think we'll keep it very open towards the whole AI space, not just Writesonic, so that people can start asking any kind of questions about any kind of AI product, so that people might be using, or people they're stuck with any kind of things. I think that's how I think it makes sense.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's get into it. Let's see Writesonic in action, if you're ready.
Sure. So yeah, this is the main core platform. When you log into the Writesonic, I think anyone can start using the freemium version. You get 10,000 words of credits, which is essentially you can write 2 to 3 articles. You can experiment, couple of social media posts and other things like that. Yeah, and you have all the different products in the pane here, which is Photosonic, ChatSonic, BotSonic. I think let's go through, I think, any particular use cases which the audience would wanted to see, any popular things, any interesting facts or anything. I think let's get started with that, and maybe let's deep dive into other things. Yeah. So,
I think we can begin with the most creative aspect of it, or your favorite one.
My recent favorite is Article Writer 5.0.
Let's
So let me
see that.
dig into this. So let me, before jumping into this, right, let me give context of what article writer is. So consider you want, I mean, when we look at the best SEOs of the world, we take inspiration from blogs of HubSpot. I mean, personally, I love HubSpot content and all of that, right? But you take some time to research on figuring out what is a tonality, what is a structure, how they're using the keywords and other things like that. But can I give references to 3 HubSpot blogs and generate my blog in a similar way, and also rank the same blog in a couple of hours? And also giving another reference, which could be my tonality, which could be any kind of blog which I've personally written on, let's say, marketing or anything of that topic, and use that here. So that is what I'm going to do, starting from the topic to referencing the articles to generating the whole article in a couple of clicks. So let's say I wanted to write article on Web3 using AI. So we built in SEMrush, which means that the keyword tool of the SEMrush is directly built in the article writer. So you don't have to go through and break in the workflow and look at buying another tool and all of that. You can do all of that from here. So we're going to do it 2 ways. One is we're going to use Web3 using AI. It now goes and searches for a couple of articles which are ranking top 1, 2, 3 positions, or a couple of which are good. Let's say I'm picking up this, and this. So CoinDesk, Analytics Vidya, and crypto, let's say they're ranking well, right? Now I go next. I wanted to add additional information. Let's say, how do I use Web3 in as a creator I want to say keywords, Web3, Instagram, TikTok, Discord. I'm selecting the tone as, let's say, funny or dramatic, like let's say excited, which makes sense. Now the language is English. Now it starts generating your articles. Contacting Sonic is, that's when the AI pushes out the information to our internal model, and then it trains the article references which are added here in real time, and it gives you an estimation of word count and other information which is taken from the averages of these three articles. It understands the structure, it understands the other elements covered in this, and then it brings out a proper structure which is comprehensive of all of these three references which you gave. I mean, either you can go with doing that, or you can go ahead with doing, I mean, yeah, adding your own references from your Google also. So now, yeah, we're writing the article, just takes a couple of minutes, and yeah, just fills in all the content for you based on the other thing. I think I can also show you an example. I think if I Google Chat GPT alternatives, which is a very high volume keyword and there is so much content, after the ads, you see that Writesonic is ranking at the top, which is also written by article writer. There is a human and an AI version. This first version is written by AI, and then we have our own writers who are going to edit it and make some changes. But this is also ranking at the top, which means that it qualifies for EAT, it qualifies for other SEO hygienes and all of that. So yeah, AI is not against SEO, just that you should know how to use it at the right
Right.
time and how.
So can humans write such long articles like without AI nowadays? 38-minute read it was, right?
Yeah.
Still generating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I mean, you got the images. I think you got the source for it. It took from DeltaWorks or Pixabay. You can also use your own if you have any. Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty intense article.
Yeah.
It keeps on doing it. So once that, I think this is one, and you also have this thing called as Sonic Editor, which is like a Google Docs kind of a thing, and you
Right.
can edit, paraphrase, and simple stuff. I think, and once it completes, I think yeah, now it's done. So yeah, I think now let's say you generated an article and you want to expand this particular thing. Now you go to the AI shortcuts. Let's say expand. Now the AI expands it here. Oh, I think there's something wrong, but let me try again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's
So now
expanded.
the AI expanded and gave you two
Yeah.
versions. You can pick which one you wanted to do, or which one you want. If you don't want, you just like ignore.
Oh, okay.
So let's say I'm using this now to also, yeah, shortcuts. I wanted to shorten this. So I think this is thinking like a typical writer, right? Like when you start writing an article, you write the first version and you try to trim particular things and expand particular things. I think that's the same logic which we use to build the whole functionality around the article writer. Yeah, so I think, yeah, just select this and that gets, and say done. And then you have your other features like make it bold, make it italic, and blah blah blah, and all of that. And also we have something called a Surfer SEO mode internally. I think you have a Surfer SEO account and all of that. You can just click here and see how many times use some NLP and all of that. So just understand the potentiality of ranking and any changes you wanted to do, any changes you wanted to do in terms of the keywords, any changes you wanted to do in terms of if you wanted to remove particular keywords, add particular thing, yeah, all of that could be done here.
Wow.
And
Okay.
also increase the creativity level. If you do
Wow,
more,
that's
you'll try
interesting.
to try to do yeah. I mean, if you keep it in the middle. It try to keeps normal. It depends on like the context and all of that. So if you want to be more funny, if you wanted to be more witty,
Yeah.
increase the creativity. If you want to be a bit professional, maybe you're addressing a more of enterprise audience who doesn't want to be witty and funny, then you keep it at a medium
So
range.
are you saying that professionals are not creative?
I'm not saying that. I would just depends on the context. Yeah.
Right. It's a very
Yeah.
interesting, scale, because how do you quantify creativity? So it's definitely something to explore. This is a very interesting topic, Chaitanya, because I'm seeing a
Mm-hmm.
lot of companies when they're hiring for content creators, they say,
Mm-hmm.
no AI generated content allowed in
Mm-hmm.
your assignment. Do you think it should change? Because it seems like with each passing day,
No,
it seems
I
like
think
this is
see,
exploding.
even there is AI generators and all of that. Even when you look at we have an integration with one of the AI tools which identifies that, hey, is this AI generated or not?
Yeah.
When you just go check Writesonic content, you can even optimize it as per not to detect that it's an AI.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there are tools like that which you can go there and check and copy paste your content. When you see that, hey, the first you might see a 1% to 2% AI content, but when you do changes suggested by the tool, you can just eliminate that and override that.
Got it.
I mean, see, completely AI written content is there, but it has its own pros and cons. And I mean, let's say you're doing a research paper or you're doing a white paper, then the limitations of AI you could use could be a bit less. But when you're doing a more generalized content like blogs, ad copies, and all of that, obviously you can go with AI related content. I mean, unless you're working at companies like EY, McKinsey, BCG, and all of these consulting companies where they don't wanted to have any kind of external information or internal information and use
Yeah.
certain tonality. Even that can also be done. So yeah, I think now let's do Chatsonic. Uh, this is similar to ChatGPT, but what is a difference here is we do train on Google data, which means that what is there in Google right now out there is available in Chatsonic. You also have a Chrome extension. You also have, which means that you can use this in all kind of tools, Android app, and all of that. Uh, yeah, which means that it's more real time. But whereas if you use ChatGPT and other kinds of AI tools, it is updated till 2021 because that's when the last update of OpenAI came, which means that if you ask him, hey, there is some event which happened today, who won the World Cup of FIFA, it might not have the right relevant information at this point. So let's try playing around this. You can also choose a personality like English, tutor, philosopher, astrologer, let's say travel guide. Let's say, give me a travel plan with 10 days. 10 days to Spain. You can also exclude or include Google data. So right now I've excluded Google data, but on the next one, let's try including that.
It's amazing how, AI just ignores grammatical errors or,
Yeah.
mistakes like the spelling of travel is not correct, but it did
Oh,
not,
yeah. I think,
you know,
yeah. I think this is where your first draft becomes more mature. I think once you
yeah,
deep down on the first draft and you know that these are my first, then you can always give another prompt and all of that. And also we have something called as prompt library, which I'm gonna show. I think it's not coming up. I think it's in some beta mode, but yeah, you have
mhm,
this Google extension here and you can also have a Discord community. I think, yeah, it's coming here. So prompt library is basically we have written couple of prompts, rewrite to pass AI content detection. This is what I'm talking about. So you can write an article by giving certain references which are pre-built here, and the AI will understand that and make sure that it passes any kind of AI detection.
right. A lot of people have read that one. I guess the numbers speak for themselves.
Right, and 30 of SEO optimized post, SEO optimized article, refresh, shorten, keyword finder, outrank an article. Can say that, hey, I wanted to outrank another article, which could be a competitor X and competitor Y. And yeah, you can say that I wanted to outrank. How could I do that and generate an article on that? Right. So all of this and search term category, and we keep adding this prompts. I think yeah, there are a few public prompts and there are specific to certain organizations. So you can add your own prompt template and save some stuff. I think this will help you to more seamlessly work around the workflow and stuff. Yeah, I think then if we go back and do something like this, then where you're using Google data, then yeah, it's contacting Sonic, searching for the information, and then you get the answer for this here. If you enable and disable memory, so basically what we use is, and you also got the references, so which means that it also understands, and you know, if you wanted to add any information in your blog or any kind of content, you know where to go there and add that particular information in that particular reference. Some issue on there, but yeah, we can check any kind of other things like LinkedIn posts, since there are a lot of creators here. You can generate captions, LinkedIn posts, Twitter threads, landing pages, and let's try to generate a landing page. If you think that makes sense, let's say Phyllo, so that it understands that it's a product. Phyllo web creator kit product. What we did, but I don't know why it's not generating. Yeah, but I think this is a same workflow. You just need to play around with changes and stuff, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in a very early phase of AI, but it's still, I mean, it's mind boggling that how many tools are here there nowadays. So it's very fast paced. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people can play around with the other tools and all the
Yeah.
different things. But
These
I
tools.
think let's also do an auto GPT. So right now, what we've seen is more of a static way of using an AI. So let's also do a more dynamic approach where let's do a specific task. Okay, let's make this more fun. So identify top 10 LinkedIn posts on generative AI. Let's do this. Like post in the morning, 10 a.m. UK time. Then comment on first 3 posts on based on stats, right? Stanford AI report. So if you see this, basically I'm building a workflow. If you wanted to you do this, I'm just gonna hit start task. It'll start thinking, and it will give a certain steps. When you wanted to execute, you can change the model here, which is basically 3.5 or 4. So just like giving it time to think through and process it in thoughts. So yeah, just let's give it some time. So what I basically did is, whatever you're going to do as a content creator, this is an input and this is the search result. If I click on it, it will go to all the posts on LinkedIn. Then this is the reason, and there's a plan, and there's a criticism, and this is the speak.
Wow. This is just amazing.
Right. And also there are other use cases. Let's say, I mean, in Reddit, there are hundreds and hundreds of threads. And you want the way how Reddit works is, if you wanted to be active, you need to post comment at the right amount of time, which is ideally the US time zone. But out of the 100 threads, you don't know which are active, which are not active. So basically you can use AutoGPT to give A, B, C, D steps, and it will be able to do that for you. And also you don't have to exceed when you use any kind of automation and all of these things. You don't have to add more steps. saying that if you post like 20 posts in a day, 30 posts in a day, they will consider that that's the kind of fraudulent activity or something, and they'll try to block you up. So
Yeah.
you can ensure that, hey, give another rule saying that make sure that this will not exceed the daily limit of Reddit. This will not exceed the daily limit of LinkedIn, Twitter,
LinkedIn. Yeah.
and so on, so that it will also ensure that to happen.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, now if I go on this, so top LinkedIn posts, busiest 577 and other people are liking. And this is all by influencers. You go there, AI guy, influencer, you go there, comment there, give a reasonable comment. Now you can go back to, let's say, Chatsonic or something. Let's say generative tips, chat prompt users, and your newsletter. Okay, the most interesting thing. Okay, let's do this, right? Let's go back. Let's do Chatsonic. Write a LinkedIn comment using this information. Now go. I mean, you can add multiple things like be an actor, be a third person you, and other things like that. So it's basically
Right.
doing all of those things, and you can role play any kind of thing you want.
Amazing. He's using the hashtags as well now.
Yeah.
Why? Amazing. This is something I'll definitely try.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that for the other kind of. I mean, as I started with that, AI is basically is a top layer of what we're going to see. It's going to change beyond what we can imagine. How can you transcribe your Zoom calls and putting all of that information, and yeah, many more are going to come. But yeah, this is going to be the tip of the iceberg, what we see in the last 1 year.
Wow. And it's really important, right, to explore things, because we are in a phase where we are just constantly mesmerized by the power of AI. So
Yeah, I think AI is gonna change a lot of things now. I mean, I see AI in the format where think of this as the world where it's seen the iPhone era, from email to bringing up the first iPhone or the first touchscreen phone. It took us probably like 25 years, right? From iPhone to becoming the Web3 thing, from the Web3 to the creator economy to the AI world, it probably took 3 to 4 years.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this masterclass. As I said, check this out on YouTube as well. Find Chaitanya on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn. Find us, TFDAO, subscribe to us. Give us your feedback on how we are doing things over here. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episodes. Thanks for the session. I got my part of the inspiration. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, thanks, Chaitanya, for giving this session.
Yeah, glad to hear. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And cut. That's it for today's episode, guys. If you really liked it, please subscribe to the 1000 Faces Club and press the bell icon below so that you don't miss any videos from us. Thank you.